The Fresh Toones Music Show is underwritten by the Animation Workshop at Animated Studio, providing animation instruction since 1993. Please visit their website at animatedstudio.com. Howdy, welcome to the Fresh Toones Show. My name is Dave Paltz, and today is one of my back-to-school shows. I'm sure everybody's excited, those folks that are going back to school, and some of us older folks that are still going to school with taking courses and learning stuff. I'm sure a lot of students are excited to get back into class and start learning some new stuff and get back with their friends. Maybe some aren't quite as excited about it. But today's show, I'm going to start out today's show sharing one of my school day stories called The Young Thespian's Remorse. If you don't know what a thespian is, it's an actor, and it was my first chance in the school play to have one of the lead roles, and it didn't quite pan out the way I would have hoped. But I'll be sharing that story with you. As far as this going back to school and learning, as an older adult, somewhere in my 50s, I discovered these courses called Great Courses that are lectures, and I was getting them on DVD. You can certainly get them online now just on your phone. But when I got back into this thing of these lectures and these professors sharing their knowledge, kind of made me think back to my college days that I really didn't utilize as well as I could have. I missed a lot of classes and maybe sloughed off some. But later on, maybe when I was in my mid-20s, your brain matures and you start thinking a little straighter. And I started to get back into classes and went back to school and finished up my degree, which meant a lot later in my career as far as getting jobs. Somewhere in my midlife, I got into this thing of just watching these lectures. Every morning when I do my exercises, I would put in a Great Course lecture. It was much better than having the TV on when I was pedaling and watching some dumb TV show or something. So I've been doing that for probably 15, 20 years now, regularly. It helps me stay in shape, and it keeps my brain going. I'm going to move on here and let me share that story with you. The Young Thespian's Remorse. It's about that first play in grammar school that a lot of us had to be a part of. It's about how I avoided the whole situation. By the end of the story, I did end up being the center of attention. It just wasn't the way I wanted to be the star of the show. The Young Thespian's Remorse. It's based on my memories from when I was 9 years old in 1961. Mrs. Fastener had just finished assigning the girls their parts in this year's class play. I dreaded this part of fourth grade, and there was no way I wanted to participate, other than maybe playing a tree in the forest or maybe a rock. Our teachers started to ask for volunteers from the boys, and only a couple raised their hands. She assigned some secondary acting parts, but she still needed the star character, Peter Cottontail, a.k.a. Peter Rabbit. Well, there wasn't any way that I was going to be hopping around the stage with a big fluffy white tail stuck to my butt, so I slumped down into my seat and almost disappeared totally behind my desk. Still hunched down, I looked over, and there was Sharon Taylor looking at me with a big smile on her face. I sat up a little and smiled back. Sharon was the girl I liked the most in class, and she had taken the part of Mrs. Rabbit for our play, The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Mrs. Fastener was asking again for a volunteer for the Peter Rabbit character, but there still weren't any takers. Sharon was motioning me with her head for me to raise my hand, and when her smile became overpowering, I felt emboldened. When I came out of my trance, my hand was raised and Miss Fastener was saying, "Thank you, David. You'll make a fine Peter Rabbit." I had forced a smile on my face, and I tried to act like I was glad to have been given the part. I nodded over to Sharon, and she smiled. That afternoon, we started rehearsing, and it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it would be. Of course, there was only Mrs. Fastener in the audience, and everybody else, except for the kids playing trees and rocks, had rabbit ears and cottontails stuck on, so it didn't seem that terrible. I was hopping around with the best of them, and my lines were pretty simple to remember, so I had no worries. This was going to be a piece of cake, and besides, Sharon had a new respect for me. We rehearsed a number of times again before the grand opening, and Sharon and I were becoming quite the stars. We were laughing between takes, and I couldn't have hoped for a better way to impress her. The weekend came, and I totally forgot about the class play. I woke up very early on Monday, the day of the big play, and I was sweating profusely. I was having a panic attack. Stage fright had taken over as I envisioned a packed auditorium of proud parents and potentially mocking schoolmates. I decided to use my sweating as a good cover for not going to school. I called my mom, who was already dressed up and ready for her son's big day on the stage, and moaned, "Mom, I'm feeling sick to my stomach." She picked up my official NFL wastebasket and put it next to my head beside the bed, and then put her hand on my forehead. She didn't like what she felt and went to get the thermometer. I didn't have a temperature, so she advised me to rest a little while and see if I felt any better when it was time to get up. After she left the room, I started moaning and groaning like I'd never done before. I put on an act right there in the bed that could have won an Academy Award. It wasn't long before I could hear her calling the school. When I went back to school the next day, I was describing to my classmates how sick I had been. I was much more graphic when telling the boys, and they seemed to eat it right up. I wanted to be sure that everyone, especially Sharon, believed me. During recess, the more I described how sick I had been, the woozier I began to feel. When I got back to the classroom and I sat down, I saw Sharon, and she was making eyes at Eddie Brinkman. It seems that Eddie had stood in for me the day of the play, and now he and Sharon were best of friends. I was really feeling sick now, but before I could get up to leave, I reared back and then let hurl my lunch, breakfast, and bits of last night's dinner. It wasn't pretty, and that day lived on in infamy for the rest of 4th grade. I never again had to worry about impressing Sharon, because she hardly ever looked at me after that. In a way, I was the star of the show, just not in the way I would have preferred. Well, I certainly had to lay low after that experience. I was pretty much known as the kid that tossed his cookies right on his desk. So for the next 3 years in elementary school, I had to kind of lay low, and maybe that's where I learned how to kind of stay in the background, do my own thing. I can speak up in my own way, so I'll keep on going here and maybe lay low here on the airwaves. Certainly I'll speak out and share my fresh tunes, but I don't have to be out there in front and be the star of the show. For a number of years at Animator Studio and the Animation Workshop, I've been able to work with kids, and it's great to hear them sing some of my songs. I'm going to share with you a song called The Teacher in the Kids Fun Song. And I kind of wrote it with some kids. They threw out some ideas, and we put them up on the blackboard. And then I went home and wrote a song called The Teacher in the Kids Fun Song. And I wasn't sure if the kids were going to get into it, because it certainly might not be the former songs that they're used to getting into. But I was really surprised. They got into the song, and it made recording the song so much more fun for all of us. And then we did an animated piece with the same title. Let me share the song with you, and you can hear the kids singing this fresh tune. The song is called The Teacher in the Kids Fun Song. We're going to sing that line a couple of times and then go right into the song. Whenever that chorus comes in, please join in. It's the teacher in the kids' fun song. It's the teacher in the kids' fun song. When our teachers say good morning, we say good morning too. When we're asked to please be quiet, we all say shh. 'Cause if we can work together, we'll have more fun. If we can sing together, we can get so much more done. What's the name of this song? It's the teacher and the kids' fun song. It's the teacher and the kids' fun song. When we're told good job done, we smile and tell everyone. When we're asked please work harder, we don't tell anyone. But if we can work together, we'll have more fun. We can sing together, we can get so much more done. It's the teacher and the kids' fun song. It's the teacher and the kids' fun song. When our teacher asks a question, we all raise our hands. When we're called on for the answer, we say just what we know. But if we can work together, we'll have more fun. If we can sing together, we can get so much more done. What's the name of this song? It's the teacher and the kids' fun song. 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 Well, over the years, I've had a lot of fun working with groups of kids from the schools or recreational centers, and the best fun of all is hearing the kids singing some of my fresh tunes. This next song has some interesting background to it. It's called The Learning Tree, and I was able to get a very fine singer named Misty Browning, who's no longer with us, to lead the song and sing with the kids. It was kind of a long-distance project. Misty had heard some of my songs and seen the music videos on YouTube to my fresh tunes, and she contacted me and said she loved my stuff, and she offered to work with me on a song, especially with kids if I had one coming up. I had to look on Misty's background, and it turns out that she was in a 3-women group. They were kind of like the Supremes. They were never big in the U.S., but they were big over in Britain. And said, wow, that's pretty cool. She contacted me. So I said, well, I'll send you a recording of me singing the song and the words. If you have a way to record it, I can blend that in with the kids singing with you. And she was very good, and she did a beautiful job on this song. And I'll share it with you now. We did a music video to it, some animation the kids made for the song. So once again, it was a super rewarding. I think the kids really felt good about their animation and their song, and we got it to play in the Rochester International Film Festival. So the kids were all invited to come to the festival opening night and see their animation on the big screen. This song is called The Learning Tree.
Let's all learn, let's have fun, let's all sing this learning song. It's fun to learn, to see how things really work. As we work and as we play, we're always learning new ways. The more that we learn, the more we will see that learning's good for you and me. Yes, it's fun to climb the learning tree. Well, we all start from being small. With each step we keep growing taller. As we grow, we'll see much more. 'Cause learning always opens new doors. 'Cause the more that we learn, the more we will see that learning's good for you and me. Yes, it's fun to climb the learning tree. Oh, let's all learn all we can, and let's all lend a helping hand. So those who want to go to school can have the fun of learning too. 'Cause the more that we learn, the more we will see that learning is good for you and me. It's fun to climb the learning tree. Yes, it's fun to climb the learning tree.
I always like to hear that song, and it reminds me of that connection I had with Misty Browning. And it lasted a number of years. We never did work on another song for an animated piece because her health deteriorated so much from cancer. This next fresh tune is another one that the kids sang with me for an animated piece that they put together. It's called We'll Grow with Love. The butterfly will break free when it is ready, when its wings are full and steady, enough to climb. In the seed that grows up in the sunlight, that reaches for the moonlight, will grow with love. And the flower blooms when it is ready, reveals its love for any who have the eyes to see. When the clouds rain down and cleanse us, the sun will remind us what time has revealed. The butterfly will break free when it is ready, when its wings are full and steady, enough to climb, enough to climb, enough to climb, enough to glide. You're listening to the Fresh Toones Show here, right on Rochester Free Radio, and today's show is one of my back-to-school shows. And fitting right in with today's theme, I'm going to share this song called Friends Come in All Shapes and Colors. In all the songs that I've written for kids, I try to have a little lesson involved or a little perspective from their side of things. And this one certainly seemed to connect with some of the kids, and their enthusiasm really jumped out a few times in the song. This song is called Friends Come in All Shapes and Colors. Have you ever had a good friend and rap and run and play. Did you wish it could last all day? 'Cause friends, they come in all shapes and colors. All that stuff don't mean a thing. If we can smile and laugh with a good friend, yeah, that's what we really need. Ooh, 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 the more the merrier, so they say. So why not find some more? It doesn't matter where they came from or what they came here for. 'Cause friends, they come in all shapes and colors. All that stuff don't mean a thing. We can smile and laugh with a good friend, yeah, that's what we really need. 'Cause friends, they come in all shapes and colors. All that stuff don't mean a thing. We can smile and laugh with a good friend, yeah, that's what we really need. 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 Well, I'm going to keep the songs flowing here for this back to school show. And this song is called Thanks to the Folks. And we really wanted to say thanks to those folks that came before us that worked so hard to get some things done that really made a difference in our lives. Once again, the kids seem to really get into singing the song, Thanks to the Folks. Thanks to the folks who led the way. Thanks to the folks, let us thank them every day. Open the doors when the doors were locked. Told the truth when the truth was mocked. Let us always remember mustn't forget that we listen very carefully and say what we must. Thanks to the folks who took the risk. What they taught us we mustn't miss. To lend a hand to plant the seed of love and giving is what the world needs. We may only be a single being, but we must try and be all that we can be. The way we live will speak much louder for the things we want to say. Thanks to the folks who led the way. Thanks to the folks, let us thank them every day. In our effort to do what's right, let us try with all our might. Thanks to the folks. Thanks to the folks. Thanks to the folks. Thanks to the folks. Let
must thank them every day.
Let's go hear it.
Well, I've got time for one more song today for this back to school show, and it's called The World We Want to Live In. And it's one of the first songs that I shared with the schools when I was out teaching for young audiences of Rochester. So it's got a special place in my heart because I've had many kids sing the song, and I've had the opportunity to record a few of them. This again was done for animated video, so there's a few instances of sound effects you may hear during the song, The World We Want to Live In.
Every day to hear what we've got to say. If we just think it out, we can turn this world about. This world is changing every day. It's up to us to play our part. We may not paint masterpiece. Every kind word paints a picture or two. Somewhere any work or play, let us live our lives today as the folks we want to be, to change the world that we see. The world we want to live in is changing every day. It's up to us in how we choose to live. We'll decide which way she goes. We'll decide which way she goes.
That's it for today's Back to School show. I hope everybody takes the opportunity to learn whatever they can in school. In my life, I learned that a lot of stuff that I could have paid better attention to would have been helpful even in my artistic career. So take advantage of everything you can learn. Have fun doing it, and have a great school year. So long now. Bye.
And the seed that grows up in the sunlight, that reaches for the moonlight, will grow with love, will grow